Hey, Connor. I was just wondering if you can just get your thoughts on the situation here, not knowing whether or not you're going to have a game in Vancouver tomorrow. And I guess what's it been like for you guys kind of just being in limbo here?
Yeah, obviously strange times. Can't say that enough. I mean, we obviously want to make sure that their health and safety is looked after. I'm in no position to tell you how they're feeling. So, obviously they went through a crazy time, and I guess we'll find out a little bit later.
And just looking at the last 14 games of the schedule you guys have, you'll have to fit them in somehow. Just can you give me a thought on what the goal is here to try and solidify the playoff spot and how you're approaching these last 14 games?
Well, I think you nailed it kind of in your question there. That's to solidify a playoff spot. That's obviously the main goal, and then obviously the secondary goal is to keep building our game, ramping up as we move towards the playoffs. I think you want to go in playing your best hockey. You don't want to go in limping. So, I think the goal is to continue to build our game, and get ourselves ready to go, when the time comes.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Connor, you guys as a team have gone through, your issues with COVID, but it's mostly been scheduling. So when you look at the Canucks, how much sympathy do you have for their situation and what they've gone through and being off for 3 weeks and a lot of illness this year?
Yeah, obviously health and safety is everyone's first priority, and they've obviously almost all of them had it. So obviously a very dangerous situation, and we're hopeful that they can come out of it and everyone can be healthy and fit to play at some point, whether that's tomorrow or not. That's out of our control. So I think at this point you prepare like we're going, and if we don't get on the plane, then we prepare for a very big game on Saturday against Winnipeg.
JT Miller was saying that it's basically asking a lot of you guys to, as players, to get back on the ice after one practice and one morning skate after that much time off. Do you agree? And how difficult is that for somebody like yourself, a professional hockey player, to jump back into game action after that much time off?
Yeah, it's never easy. After layoffs to get back into it, but I mean, whether they practice once or 3 times, I'm not sure. The difference. I mean, maybe you'd think you'd feel better after 3 practices, but I think it's going to be hard either way. I think they've put themselves, or this situation has put them in a difficult spot, and they're going to need to get in and play games eventually. When that is, again, that's out of our control. So you obviously feel for them in this situation. You hope that they're feeling well, their families are feeling well, and no one's affected by it long term. But ultimately, we'll see what happens.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
There's there's kind of only one story today here. You had your bout with COVID. How was your training affected? How did you feel when you first skated? How long did you wait to first skate? You've been through this. Can you just give us your perspective, what it was like for you?
Yeah, I think I was one of the lucky ones that wasn't too greatly affected by it. Obviously I was at a time where there was not a ton being asked of me, so just took my time off and got back into it after my quarantine was done, and kind of forgot about it. So obviously not everyone is as lucky as I was, and it's obviously a very serious thing, and people experience it differently. So I was definitely one of the lucky ones.
So I think one of the ancillary things that we're talking about here, it's not just tomorrow night's game, Connor. They're supposed to play tomorrow at 6. They're supposed to play the next day, the Leafs, at 5, and they're supposed to play 19 games in 31 days. Everything's piling up on the Canucks here. Like as you said, it's unfortunate, but that schedule would be let me ask you, is that schedule realistic for any team, let alone a team coming off of the situation that they're coming off of?
That's a great question. I think in a month, in a regular season, in a busy month, you might play 15, 16 games. So, throwing 3 more in there is obviously a lot to ask. But these are different times. The games need to get played. Obviously, we want the health and safety as the first priority. So I think you got to make sure that's taken care of first, and then, I'm not really sure how to answer your question. I think that's a lot of games and not a ton of nights with travel across the country. So, they're definitely behind the 8 ball, but I think it's maybe a good opportunity for them to rally together or kind of get through it all together. So that's the only way you can.
Terry Jones, Post Media.
Yeah, could you deal with the Winnipeg game that follows it in either event? If you've got to go through 2 time zones and get in at 4 a.m. or whatever and play, and you guys have got a great record. I think it's 13-3 under Dave in this situation, but not with that kind of a challenge ahead of you. And how important is that game? You play Winnipeg 3 times this year.
Yeah, I think it's a massive game, obviously for positioning. I think it's obviously, I mean, it is what it is. It's not going to be the easiest back to back. Going through 2 time zones, and but there's teams that are being asked to do different things, and we're just part of that. So we'll deal with it and hopefully find a way to grind out a win and move on. But we obviously have a game to focus on before we get to there.
And do you guys kind of feel to some extent like you've been considering that you've kept it out of your dressing room, that you guys have kind of been are done by the situation in Montreal and the situation in Vancouver just because of how it's affected your team unlike any other?
It's tough to really feel bad for ourselves. I mean, there's people that aren't even allowed to go into work and aren't allowed to go to school and do all the things that they would normally do. So we're obviously very fortunate to be able to come into work and to get to live a fairly normal life. So I think it would be hard for us to sit here and complain about, some scheduling issues and stuff like that. So, everyone's trying to be flexible. Everyone's trying to take care of each other. I think, just in our case, all the guys' families, have done a phenomenal job of keeping COVID out. I think it takes a full group effort to do that. It takes a lot of sacrifice. There's lots of people sitting at home, watching games and counting on us to keep them somewhat entertained. So that's something that we feel responsible for and love to do it. So like I said, it's tough to complain about a couple of scheduling issues.
Final 2 questions. Jason Gregor, then Ken Campbell. Go ahead, Jason.
Connor, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Perfect. You've flown to Winnipeg on preseason and, on the day of the game. You've flown, late at night. Is there one that's better? Like if you play in Vancouver, would you prefer to sleep in the hotel in Vancouver and travel the day of the game, or is travel day of the game just too hard?
I haven't even thought of that. We've done the travel for preseason game. It's not easy to do that either. I think it's definitely better to just get to the city. You can sleep in. We don't play till 9 o'clock, so you'll have lots of time to sleep throughout the day. So you should be able to get yourself enough rest.
Ken Campbell, Hockey News.
Hi, Connor. Just wanted to change gears a little bit and ask you about a young man by the name of Connor Bedard. He, I know you guys both train with Power Edge Pro, but I'm sure you've noticed some of the incredible things he's been doing this year in the Western League, and I'm wondering first, like having sort of done the same thing at the same age, how remarkable it is that he's doing what he's doing. And second, just wondering if you have any advice for him for what he's about to face over the next couple of years as an exceptional player and as a kid who's doing some really special things.
Yeah, I mean, for sure have heard what he's doing, and he's obviously playing very well, and looks like he's going to be a special player in our league, and but he's got a long way to go, and I guess my advice for him would be to enjoy the junior days, because they truly are some of the best times of your life, and they go by quick. So just enjoy that. Don't be in a rush to get out of there, because junior's some of my favorite memories. So he's obviously doing a lot of good things, and he's going to be a special player, and but for him, he just needs to enjoy his junior days and continue to get better.